She chose him and I let her go, not because I stopped loving her, but because she stopped choosing me. And I knew when someone's heart no longer beats in your direction, you don't chase, you release. It wasn't dramatic. No screaming match, no begging or pleading. She sat across from me in that quiet corner of the coffee shop we used to call ours. Same table, same 2 mugs. Only difference was we weren't the same people anymore. I need time, she said, but her eyes told the truth. It wasn't time she needed. It was distance from me, and maybe from everything we had built together. I could have asked, could have pressed, but what's the point of asking questions when your soul already knows the answers? I just nodded, didn't say much, didn't have to, because sometimes silence says everything love can't, and I walked out. No dramatic goodbye, just the sound of my footsteps echoing in a place that once felt like home. The days after that, they were quiet, not peaceful quiet, the heavy kind, where your chest feels like it's holding its breath for someone who isn't coming back. I stopped checking my phone, stopped going to our favorite spots, stopped replaying her laughter in my head. Friends asked if I was okay. I said, yeah, just tired. They believed it. I almost did too. But the truth? I was grieving someone still alive, grieving a love that didn't die. It just shifted to someone else. I found out later that it was him, the guy from her gym, the one she just talked to, the one she said was just funny. Yeah, funny how hearts change when someone else starts listening. But I didn't hate her, didn't even hate him. I just hated how easy it was for her to move on while I was still picking up pieces of a future we talked about like it was written in stone. So I moved forward, slowly, started journaling, cut my hair, changed my routine, stopped listening to the playlist she made for me. Well, almost stopped. I told myself I wouldn't be the guy who waits, so I didn't, at least not out loud. But then one Sunday, it was raining. I was walking out of a bookstore, but pulled up, coffee in one hand, keys in the other, and there she was, standing by my car, soaked. No umbrella. Just a look I hadn't seen on her face in a long time. I stopped. She didn't move, didn't say a word until I unlocked the car, and she stepped forward. I was wrong. 3 words. That's all it took to shake the walls I'd built. She looked thinner, tired, like someone who hadn't slept well in weeks. I didn't speak, just stared. She added, I thought I knew what I wanted, but I didn't. It wasn't him. It was never him. Silence again. The rain filled in the space between us. She kept going. I thought leaving you would make me feel free, but all it did was make me realize what freedom feels like when you're completely alone. I wanted to scream, to ask why. Why now? Why come back after choosing someone else? But instead, I opened the car door, and we sat for a long time. No music, no heat. Just 2 people relearning how to be in the same space without falling apart. She cried. I didn't, maybe because I already had. She told me everything. How it wasn't what she thought it would be. How she missed the way I listened, really listened. How she laughed less. How the silence between her and him wasn't comforting. It was empty. She asked if we could start over. I didn't answer. Because here's the thing. When someone leaves you for someone else and comes back with apologies, you don't just jump back in. You ask yourself, do I miss her or do I miss who I was when I was with her? And maybe you realize the version of you she left doesn't exist anymore. We talked for a few more minutes. She asked if she could call me sometime. I said, maybe, because healing isn't a door you open for just anyone, even if that someone once held the key. So I let her go again, not in anger, but in strength, because now I know when love comes back after choosing someone else, you don't just ask if they've changed. You ask if you have. And this time I